Hey everybody, I am here. I am live. We missed another recording day. Um, Life is busy. Life is what it is. So let's get a 30-second ticker, see if we can get a few people on here because it's been a rough one. And we're still in the spirit. So we're going to be discussing that today. See y'all in 30. And here we are. How is everybody doing today? So, we got Big Dog back here in the back. Oh, both of them are back there. Look at that. So, man, we've been talking about walking in the Spirit and whether or not you are not walking in the Spirit and why you should and some of the great things that can happen. What we haven't talked about is the tests that you will be put through. But there's a couple things we say in church, at our church. I don't know about y'all's, but without a test, there is no testimony. But then the fun one we say at Keller Williams anyway is no heat, no pressure, no diamonds. It's pretty much the same thing. No test, no testimony, no heat, no pressure, no diamonds. You don't get any good stuff if it's easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? So let's talk about that. Everybody in your life, everybody in their lives will struggle. There is going to be a time, and it could be the biggest thing on the planet, it could be the easiest thing on the planet, but there could be something where you struggle. And there are so many times that it's not necessarily the mountains in our lives. And at Bayview Christian Center, that's one of the things we talk about as well, is we talk about, Jesus literally told the disciples with the faith, enough faith to fill the grain of a mustard seed, that you would be able to tell a mountain to pick up and move itself to the ocean, and it would move itself into the ocean. And so the thing that's crazy is we see the mountains. We talk about it. I've had people ask me to pray for them, and I'm like, tell me what your mountain is. I want to pray for you, and I can pray for you in a general way. But if you tell me what your mountain is, I can pray to have your mountain moved. What we don't ever talk about are the speed bumps. Man, the molehills, and I'm not talking about the molehills that we turn into mountains. I'm talking about the molehills, the speed bumps. Those are not the ones that we see. Those are the ones we trip over the most. I've got a molehill in front of me, and it is making me struggle. Like I am fighting, just kicking this molehill over and just walking away. And I've put a lot of effort into it, a lot of effort. It is incredibly important that if you're going to be Spirit-led, if you're going to do everything in your power to walk by the Spirit, that you take the time to literally stop and pray about your troubles. This molehill literally just changed this podcast. And so it is a struggle sometimes to stop and really just rethink, not make any rash decisions. Is it that guy that just cut you off? Is it that client that just changed everything on you? Is it something else? I don't know about y'all, but I know I grew up with a saying that we all forget to take into account. And it winds up being a molehill for a lot of us. And then because of the way other people act, we'll turn that molehill into a mountain for somebody. The saying that I'm talking about is your lack of preparedness, or you not being prepared, does not constitute an emergency on my side or in my life. And there's so many times that we allow other people in our lives, be it friends, family, clients, people in church, people outside of church, who are not prepared the way they should be prepared, and they get into emergency mode. My hair's on fire. And they want you to drop everything you're doing to put their head out. And as a Christian, the answer isn't, hey, I'm not here to help you in an emergency. If your hair's actually on fire, then I'm going to stop and pray about it immediately, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to help you out. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about their hair's not really on fire, but they want you to act like it is because they didn't prepare for something else that they've known about for a period of time beyond today and beyond an hour ago, beyond this minute. And man, it is so easy to just literally stop and drop everything you've got going on in your life, your kids, your family life, your time at dinner, your time at church, your time with God that you already have, that you dedicate every day. Whatever it is, you will take that time to help these people put out what is not an actual fire. And then those are the same people who, when, generally speaking, you have an honest emergency come up, or even if you're the person that has a failure to plan, those people will let you know that your failure to plan or your emergency does not constitute an emergency on my part. And so I can tell you this. One of the things that I've really tried to work on, and I'm not good at it, and don't even act like I'm good at it, but one of the things that AWOL and Amy and I talked about in our podcast a couple months ago was taking that 6 seconds, take a breath, give your thoughts and actions over to God. In that 6 seconds, you will have all the time in the world, because that 6 seconds, you can literally feel the world stopping and the world coming together. Instead of being in this big, massive explosion, like you feel like I said, the world is coming to an end, that person is putting pressure on you, everything is just going wrong, and you stop. Take 6 seconds. It all comes together. And it gives you a chance to make a decision. Number one, first, I'm going to give this to God. And if he doesn't have an answer in 6 seconds, then I'm going to wait until God gives me an answer. So that fire can be burning for a while on your head, whatever it is that person wants from you. But if you're not doing it the way God wants you to do it, your head's going to start catching, and then you're going to cause problems for other people in your life. And you're not going to see God in the light that you're supposed to see God. And you are definitely not going to wind up being the person that you want to be. You're going to be angry about it. You're going to be salty about it. And you are not going to be that person. Rip the Band-Aid off. Take the 6 seconds. Consult God. He's the one provider anyway. So I've got this dilemma that I'm working on right now. Same thing. And I'm actually using this podcast as my 6 seconds, which will wind up being 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how quickly I can shut up. But this is my time with God. The time I spend with y'all right now for this specific situation is my time with God. I'm going to let God guide me as to how I should act with this specific situation. Because I've been here, and I've been working hard. And I know that no matter what the answer is it's not going to be good enough for the person that's got the problem. And I have to decide, is it time to stop and let this person go by their wayside and find somebody else to help them, which would stink because I've got a lot of time invested in it. I've got a lot of gas. I've got a lot of money. I know people laugh as a real estate agent that I'd make tons and tons of cash just from doing absolutely nothing, but I can tell you that, man, we are waiters, we are waitresses on steroids. Drive all over the place at times that most people don't want to be driving, go places to help people that you don't necessarily want to be at. It's not the easiest thing in the world, and you want to help somebody because you want to be helpful, but at the same time, you have to have your limits, and you have to have things set up the way you want them set up. But then you got God, and God's the one. If you're really going to lean into God and you're really going to be led by the Spirit, then you have to stop and give him his due. You have to give him his time, and his time is before every action. I'm not talking about every action like when you're breathing or whatever, but it's every time before you make a rash decision belongs to God. Every time before you make an easy decision, it should be an easy decision because you already know God approves. Your mom needs help getting groceries out of the car. Your wife needs help getting groceries out of the car. Whatever those split second decisions, that's not what we're talking about. You know, those are the things, those are the acts that do glorify God, because they show the people around you how much you love them. The act to help a stranger, it glorifies God. It shows the stranger how much you love them. And again, you know, it gives you the chance to be that epistle that somebody else is going to read, that they don't get a chance to read any of the other epistles from Paul or John or Peter or Timothy or any of the other ones. And those letters are important, that we walk by those letters. But where we as Christians stumble, again, it's not the things we know we're supposed to do right. It's the things that we know we're supposed to do right, and we've been trying to do right. And it keeps bothering me and bothering you, or bothering you and bothering you and bothering you and bothering you and bothering you. You try to do right. You try to do right. You try to do right. Try to do right. The thing is I guess really when it boils down to it, the question isn't am I doing the right thing now? The question is have I been doing the wrong thing this whole time because I didn't consult God? Did I look at this? Man, because let's face it, the devil will present something to you as something that's godly. The devil will easily. Do you really think that Adam and Eve ate that apple or orange or passion fruit, whatever the tree from the knowledge of good and evil was? Do you really think that they looked at that piece of fruit and said, "There's no way this is from God"? You know, there's no way that this is not good. There's no way, because the devil will do everything in his power to deceive you. That's what he is, the father of lies. And so if the devil is the father of lies, then don't think that good things that come before you are things that look or appear to be as good things that come before you aren't from the devil. Because we say only good things come from God. That's absolutely right. Only good things come from God. But the devil will present bad things in the best light possible. And so maybe that's the thing. Maybe this speed bump is really a mountain, and I'm just on my way down. And now I'm tripping because things are going too fast. So that when you hit that speed bump, you got to stop. You got to pray. You cannot make a rash decision over a speed bump because you think it's not big enough to worry about giving to God. There's no situation in your life that's too big to give to God. And I got to get better at it. I got to get a lot better at it. And so 15 minutes, I think that was a lot of rambling. And again, it's another day without scripture, because it came one thing in my head. I've got a sermon that I'm working on for August 20th at Bayview Christian Center. So any of y'all that watch this If you look on my page, every Sunday I post Bayview Christian Center's posts. If you can't be here, oh, hey, Thule, sorry I missed your message till just now. But every other third Sunday, I preach over at Bayview Christian Center, and so this coming Sunday, I think, is the 20th, 2 weeks from now, is my Sunday to preach. And if you go through my feed, you can find every Sunday I post Bayview Christian Center's feed. So I'd love to see you. If you can't be here in person, please come and support us. Support me. I do a lot of tearing up. I do a lot of sniffling. I do a lot of weird stuff. Not that weird, but weird compared to most pastors. So anyhow, I thought that that's what I was going to be talking about today, and turns out that God had other plans. So here I am signing off. Hope to God I get to see you guys next week. I hope you all get a chance to see this, and I hope it helps out somebody. So all y'all have a blessed night. Love you all, and I'll see y'all again soon. Signing off.